Eye research is really important. There are so many different eye diseases and conditions out there that we still don't know how to prevent. We don't know what causes them. We have some treatments for different eye diseases, but those treatments might be limited, and we don't have treatments for every eye disease and condition. And ultimately, of course, what we really want to be able to do is to restore sight to people who have lost it from a whole range of different eye diseases, conditions, and of course from trauma as well. What has been really important is the developments and the breakthroughs that we have seen in potential new treatments. You only have to look at the advances that have been made in terms of the clinical trials that we now have for things like inherited eye diseases and the potential for gene replacement therapies. You look at the trials that are starting now in terms of potential stem cell therapies, and it's a really exciting time in eye research. And I think it's fair to say that the pace of change is faster than we've ever known before. Now, a lot of those things are coming through because of research that's been funded by Fight for Sight in the last 8 years, but also it's because of the pipeline of research. We've got a 5-year plan at the moment from 2012 to 17, and in that time we want to have invested £20 million into new research. And our goals are all focused on finding ways of preventing different eye diseases and conditions, on being able to understand the causes of different eye diseases and conditions, developing new and better treatments, and also of course being able to detect eye diseases and conditions early. And of course what we also want to do is to ensure that any information that comes out of research that can be helpful to people in terms of actually looking after their own eyes and actually being able to manage their own eye health, that we make sure that all of that information is disseminated and people have the best possible quality information. Well, we're funding at the moment about 100 projects at 35 different universities and hospitals, and they cover research into all different types of eye disease and condition. We've got some really exciting programs. For example, we've got a large grant at the UCL Institute of Ophthalmology, which is looking at using stem cells from the nose to see if we can actually repair and regenerate optic nerve cells, which get damaged through glaucoma and through other eye diseases and also through trauma. We've got a big program at the University of Manchester, which is actually looking at developing the best way of delivering genetic counselling and genetic testing for people with inherited eye diseases. And there are a whole range of other programs for different eye conditions, looking at how we can get better treatment for things like amblyopia. So a really wide range of different programs, really focused on our goals of actually looking at being able to prevent, to treat, to detect early, and actually to really understand the causes of different eye diseases and conditions. Sadly, there are a lot of research applications that we are unable to fund. In fact, we fund about 1 in 6 of the applications that we receive. The UK has some of the best researchers in the world doing eye research, and it is really difficult to actually decide which projects to fund. But obviously we do have priorities, but we also need to be clear that what we're funding is really good quality research. And for that we undertake a peer review process, and what that means is that grant applications are assessed by experts not only in the UK but overseas as well. It's incredibly important to fund early stage research. There is very limited funding for eye research, and so it really does take charities like Fight for Sight, who are prepared to fund early stage research, to actually start the progression of research that is needed. If you take the case of research into choroideremia, because of the funding through the Tommy Salisbury Choroideremia Fund at Fight for Sight, we were able to fund really very early stage research into that particular condition. That research got us to a certain level of knowledge and a certain point at which the researchers were then able to go to other funders to get a grant to undertake a first phase clinical trial. That first phase clinical trial reported in January of this year, and the results exceeded expectations, and as a result of that a spin-out company has now been formed from Oxford University, with whom Imperial were collaborating, and that spin-out company has attracted £12 million of investment. But none of that further investment would have happened if Fight for Sight had not been the lead funder of the early stage research.